So as we know that in last class we studied hydrogenation of oils. That is what we used to say is addition reaction, and as well as we studied substitution reaction also. So now just one more point I want to add it for addition reaction. So after that we will go to the next concept. So if you have noticed it, everybody, addition reaction. What is the best example of addition reactions? Adding of hydrogen to the unsaturated hydrocarbons and convert them into what? Everybody, saturated hydrocarbons. So that is the best example for adding of hydrogen to the unsaturated hydrocarbons under the presence of catalyst and converting them into saturated hydrocarbons. So that is what we used to call it as a addition reaction. So now these addition reactions, as I told you yesterday's class, if you add hydrogen to the vegetable oil, that is what is the process we used to say hydrogenation of oils. So as I told you yesterday, vegetable oil is contains unsaturated fats. So this is only actually good for consumption. That is what we used to consumes, it's good for consumers. But if you have taken animal fat, so animal fat basically contains what? All of you? Saturated fats, which is not actually good for the humans for consumption. So as it is saturated, it is very stable in nature and it is difficult to digest. Then yesterday I have taught you bromine test. Do you all remember, everybody? Bromine test or bromine water test. So instead of hydrogen, also can react with the chlorine and bromine also. But compared to chlorine, okay, chlorine can react, but bromine test is the one which will help us to identify. What can we identify, everybody? We can identify alkanes or next one, alkenes and alkynes. But remember, we cannot specify which is alkene and alkyne. Do you all understand, Amma? Both can be. That's why I can say simply, we can identify which is saturated and next one is what? Which is unsaturated. So it may be what we can say unsaturated means. Unsaturated means it may be alkene or it may be alkyne also. So how we can identify? Basically, brown water is bromine water is basically brown in color because of presence of bromine. Now, if it is react with unsaturated hydrocarbons, it will be decolorized. So decolorize or it will turn up into colorless. So that is what we will identify basically what is unsaturated hydrocarbon and what is saturated hydrocarbon. So now, if you have noticed it here, so this is what we studied yesterday's class. Now I want to say that equation also. So of course, as I told you, addition of unsaturated hydrocarbon, like addition of halogens like chlorine, bromine, this reaction to the unsaturated hydrocarbons, that is what we used to call it as a halogenation. So halogenation means addition of halogens to the unsaturated hydrocarbons. So, for example, if I add bromine, write that equation. If I add bromine to the bromine Br2, bromine to the unsaturated hydrocarbon. What is this unsaturated hydrocarbon? Everybody, C2H4. What is the name of it? Anyone? Name of it? Ethene. Others also you have to remember. So unsaturated hydrocarbon. So if you add bromine, so that it will turn up into saturated hydrocarbon. So here one bond is Br will come, and here also one bond Br will come. So that is what we used to call it as 1, 2 dibromoethane. Dibromoethane. So what is this? Call it as a saturated or unsaturated? Everybody. Saturated hydrocarbon. Okay. So this is also one of the important equation. So bromine test, if you want it, you can use this one. Okay, everybody, clear? So any doubt, anyone can ask. Understand, Mr. Sanjay, Rohit?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is all about yesterday's class. So in yesterday's class, this is the one of the most important thing you have to remember, which I am saying you now. So now next we are going to start the next important concept. That is what important carbon compounds. The first important carbon compound. What is that, everybody? Important carbon compounds. We have only two. So in these two, 100% one will be there in our board exam. One means the any one property of it. So important carbon compounds. You can see majority of the compounds which we are using in our daily life, they are actually carbon or the organic compounds, which we are actually including our body is made up of carbon only. That's why most of the substances which is in our surroundings is definitely they are the carbon or the organic compounds. So we learn the two important compounds you should learn. That is what is the first one is ethanol, and the second one is ethanoic acid. So remember, ethanol also we can call it as a ethyl alcohol. Sir, why sir ethyl alcohol? Why can't methyl alcohol? Because who is the alcohol's first one? Alcohol's first one who? Methyla, methanola, ethanola. Methanol, understanding? And then ethanol will come. But methanol does not have much priority for us. Why it is means we'll discuss it. We'll go with the ethanol only always. So next, ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid also we can call it as a what? Everybody. Common name
Acetic
is
acid.
ethanoic acid. It is called as a acetic acid. So let us start with the first one. That is what? Ethanol. All of you write it. Ethanol. Also we can call it as a what? Ethyl alcohol. Formula is C2H5OH. Please learn it. C2H5OH is the formula of ethanol or ethyl alcohol. So now, if I draw the ethanol structure, you can see two carbons, and first carbon 3 hydrogens, second carbon 2 hydrogens, and second carbon OH. So this is the structure of the ethanol. Now, if I draw the electron dot structure, so everywhere I have to replace with the one pair of dot. So CC, H, 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 here also H and H, here O and H. So I will replace with the one pair of dot. But I will see how who will make correctly here. So carbon and hydrogen, carbon and hydrogen, carbon and oxygen completed. But oxygen is having extra lone pair of electrons. Can you tell me how many, Harish? If I draw this one, suppose if I draw this electron dot structure, is it right or wrong? That is, I want it. Anybody can tell? Is this electron dot structure right or wrong? Metakshri?
So wrong.
Wrong. Remember why? Carbon, the lone pair of electrons is 4, means the valence electrons. Please remember, if it is any atom, valence electrons has to be represented. So while we are writing the electron dot structure, valence electrons has to represent represent in electron dot structure. Please note it. That is the reason I am stressing this electron dot structure or Lewis structure, whatever it is. So why? What is the reason? Now, what is the wrong in this? Anybody can tell? Any one of you? Every atom you can see. Yeah,
Sir,
lone pair of electrons. Totally oxygen, how many electrons are there in the valency cell? Everybody? Yes, please. Oxygen atomic number is 8. Am I right, everybody? So, electronic configuration is 2, 6. So, 2 are present in the one cell. And next cell, how many is present? Everybody?
6
6 electrons. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, now, already 1 electron is sharing with the carbon, 1 electron is sharing with the hydrogen. Then how many electrons, how many unreactive electrons is above oxygen? Everybody? How many guys? Two lone pair of electrons. That is what you have to represent. So please mark it and do it. I hope you understand. Clear? Abhirami? Mitakshri?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, very, very important. If you forgot to represent the lone pair of electrons, that electron dot structure is invalid or it is not a correct representation, whatever it is. Carbon and hydrogen, lone pair of electrons is not there. Why means? It is balanced. Extra kadayad. You can count it. Our last valence shell, how many electrons has to come? Carbon. Already 4 is there, then remaining 4. So 4 electrons already shared. So no more extra electrons will be there. And I forgot it here. Here also it is there. What is that here? Carbon, carbon, one pair of electrons. So there is no lone pair. Oxygen, lone pair of electrons is there. That electron dot structure, always lone pair of electrons has to be represented. Understanding everybody? Clear, Amma? Yes? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next slide. So ethanol is also called it as other names of ethanol. We can call it as a spirit. We can call it as a spirit. We can call it as a tincture. We can call it as a grain alcohol. So these all are the names of this actually. So now in large scale, all of you remember, ethanol can be manufactured from large scale. If you want to produce like industrial, if you want to produce ethanol, they will produce from the sugar molasses. That is what? The waste product from the sugar industries, a black and sluggish material. That is what we used to call it as a molasses. So this molasses we used to call it as non-crystalline sugar. Non-crystalline sugar, which we used to call it as a molasses. So what is the industrial process we are using to manufacture this ethanol is call it as a fermentation. So exactly Tamil, I don't know what to say. So fermentation is the basic process which we are using to manufacture alcohol. So just break down by enzymes. So by adding the enzymes, how we are making the curd, the similar process. So we'll dump everything in a particular big container where no exchange of gases, and we'll put some enzymes inside it so that they will start breakdown. They will eat it and they will release some chemicals and they'll produce the new product like a curd formation. So what is the industrial process which we used to call it as a production of ethanol, everybody? Which we used to call it
ferment,
as fermentation. And what is the raw material for production of ethanol? Molasses. Sugar industries we used to get it. So waste product in the sugar industries, very bad smell it will come. That is what non-crystalline sugar. So that molasses Molasses is actually a raw material for production of alcohol, that is what ethanol, that is very thick and very dark brown liquid which is left behind, after the crystallization of sugar from concentrated sugar juice. Concentrated sugar juice. So that is what we used to call it as a molasses. Now, what molasses contains? It contains molasses formula. Everybody write it. C12H22O11. That is what we call it as a sucrose. Is actually present from where? Molasses. Understand, Emma? So if it will react with the water, that is what we used to say. Okay. So by using a enzyme call it as a invertase. What is the name of the enzyme? Everybody? Enzymes call it as a invertase. Okay. So it will converting into glucose, C6H12O6 plus we are going to get C6H12O6. So both are same formula. This is call it as a glucose and this is call it as a fructose. So note it. And this glucose, if I undergoes again with another enzyme, call it as a gymase, invertase and gymase. So I will get it into C2H5OH plus I'm going to get carbon dioxide. So this is what is the manufacturing process of ethanol from the molasses. So raw material for production of ethanol is actually molasses. So please write that equation. So enzymes what we are using is invertase and as well as gymase. So this is what is the manufacturing process of what, everybody? Yes, please. Manufacturing process of what? All of you? Alcohol.
Ethanol.
So write it. Any doubt? Anybody can ask. So what is the process name? Call it as, all of you, fermentation process. Okay. So write it. Fermentation process.
Sir,
Yes.
for sucrose, O11 or OH, sir.
Sucrose C12
Formula, sir.
H22O11. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So do it, everybody. So now here, which is left by the people, majority of the people, it is like invisible for them. So that is from the NCRT. After reading the physical properties, so we'll study that. So now, if you have taken it is, what is the physical properties of this alcohol? So physical properties of ethanol. Remember, each word is important from NCRT. Many questions they will ask also. That is also we'll discuss it. So it is actually a volatile liquid. I already taught you what do you mean by volatile. Anybody? What do you mean by volatile? It can easily change its state. Okay. So that is what volatile means, having a low melting and boiling point. So means they can easily change its physical state by change in small temperature. So volatile liquid and soluble in water. Soluble in water. Second property, it has low boiling point. So it is just about 78 degrees Celsius. Next, highly, they will catch the fire or not? Everybody, they will burn or not? Please respond. They will burn. Am I right or wrong? Combustion or not? Yes or no, guys? They are highly combustion. That is what? They are highly inflammable. What is the meaning of inflammable? Highly catching fire or not? Inflammable, opposite word is non-flammable. Note it. Inflammable means, understanding, not inflammable means highly dangerous. Okay. Non-flammable means not will catch the fire. Note the meaning. Okay. So don't misunderstand. Inflammable means flammable, inflammable kadayadu. Flammable, inflammable, both are same. Basically, you can see petrol lorries and all, they used to write backside. Highly inflammable. Have you noticed it? Anybody? Petrol lorries and all? Petrol tankers and all? They will write it highly inflammable. Means in the sense of they are very dangerous. They can easily catch the thing, fire. Next, it is neutral in nature. Neutral in nature means no action with litmus. Any litmus. Sorry, no action on litmus. Next, fifth property, pure ethyl alcohol. This is very important. Pure ethyl alcohol is called absolute alcohol. So absolute alcohol, if anybody will drink, they will die. Nobody is supposed to have absolute alcohol. Only for industrial purposes we will use this one. So pure ethyl alcohol, we used to call it as a what? Absolute alcohol. Next one. Ethyl alcohol containing ethyl alcohol containing 5% water. 5% water is called rectified spirit. Rectified spirit, which is a constant actually boiling mixture, which is a constant boiling mixture. So basically, whenever we are taking alcohols, whatever the ethyl alcohol we have, definitely in that 5% water will be there. So that is the mixture we used to call it as a rectified spirit. Okay. So now let us go to the physical properties in a book. You can see that how we need to study and how we need to make it. So if you have noticed it here, I'm not going to talk about the chemical properties, physical properties alone. So ethanol is every word I will say, we have to discuss it. So ethanol is a liquid at room temperature. Okay. So now for the melting and boiling points of ethanol, if you want it, table number 4.1. That's why I said the first important table in this chapter is this one. So 4.1 table. So what is the ethanol? Ethanol also call it as a what? Ethyl alcohol. What is the melting point? Everybody check it. Melting point how much? 156 degree Kelvin and boiling point is 351 Kelvin. But I given you degree Celsius. Means what? Degree Celsius equals to how much, everybody? Remember, degree Celsius equals to, okay, 273. Who is that? Please listen. So degree Celsius is equals to, if you have noticed it, what will the conversion actually? Kelvin is equals to 273. We have to add it. Degree Celsius plus 273 if you have made it. Now, if you have noticed, the degree Celsius is equals to Kelvin minus 273. So remember all of you that unit conversion is also very, very important. Temperatures they can ask in anything, either they can ask in degree Celsius or Kelvin. You have to be very careful because anything they can ask in the exam. So all the temperatures please convert and you remember that. Okay. So please write it that also. All of you. So everybody write it. So if, for example, if I take 0 degree Celsius, means in the sense of if I add plus 273, which is equals to 273 Kelvin. So if I take basically the unit conversions, the Kelvin scale is equals to degree Celsius plus 273. Degree Celsius is equals to Kelvin scale minus 273. So please write that. So this is what is the conversions. All of you need to know these conversions also. So now, as we study here, the tabular column they have given the melting points and boiling points. If you have noticed it, so melting point is 156 kelvins and boiling point is 351 Kelvin. Now I taught you what is the boiling point. Everybody check it and tell me what is the boiling point I taught you. Just now I taught. What is the boiling point? Everybody?
78 degrees Celsius.
78 degrees Celsius. Verify it. 351 minus 273. This is what is a Kelvin. 351 minus 273. How much, Amma? Yes, everybody. 351 minus 273. How much is the answer?
78, sir.
78. Okay, that is what. So they can ask anything. Because unit conversion we already studied in the lower classes. That's why they will ask. Most probably they will give in degree Celsius. Because second chapter also there is a tabular column regarding temperatures. I think third chapter, metals and non-metals. Am I right, Amma? Third chapter, metals and non-metals, there is a temperature tabular column. Correct? Compounds. Yes? So that's what. So learn the boiling points and melting points. Definitely there will be a question from this. Okay, everybody. So next, gradation in physical properties. This is one of the most important paragraph. All of you should learn. What is the paragraph? Hari, I think not this one. What is the paragraph? Antakshri? That gradation in physical properties. What is the paragraph? Yeah, I think this is. No. Which is the paragraph? What is the paragraph, Amma? Gradation in physical properties. NCERT book you have means you can see that. 1 minute. That paragraph also you should learn. I told you, no? What is that actually? Where it is there? Yeah. So after the functional groups. So there is a paragraph near to the functional groups. I think you all knows that. Yes. Functional groups over homologous series. Yes. So this is the paragraph you all need to remember. Very, very important. As the molecular mass increases in homologous series, the gradation in physical properties also seen. Means the melting and boiling points increases with increasing molecular mass, and other physical properties such as solubility in a particular solvent also shows a similar gradation. So solubility range also changes. Chemical properties remain same, but physical properties will vary. That is also very, very important paragraph. Learn it. So now coming back to the today's class, as we are studying now, the properties of ethanol, every word is very important. So just refer for 4.1, I am saying you. So ethanol is commonly called it as alcohol, and it is the active ingredient of all the alcoholic drinks. So whatever we are seeing in the market, which is people consuming, as a vodka or whatever it is, rum, gin, wine, whatever it is, local alcohol or whatever imported alcohol, doesn't matter. Every alcohol, you can take the bottle and you see, if you take a beer or if you take any kind of thing which is consumed by the people, all the things they contains alcohol, that name call it as a ethyl alcohol or ethanol. So the what we are consuming is actually ethyl alcohol. You cannot consume methyl. And you can see class 9th you might be studied. Preparation of tincture is actually a mixture of two things. Anybody can tell? One is iodine. Iodine is mixed with alcohol. Am I right, everybody? Do you all remember, everyone? Alcohol is called it as a solvent and iodine is called it as a solute. Remember, Natara? For a solutions,
Sir.
preparation of solution, class 9th, chapter number 2, you will study types of mixtures. So in that one of the mixture is solution. So in addition, you can see because it is a good solvent. That's why I said alcohol is a good solvent. Which alcohol we are using now? Ethanol or ethyl alcohol. It is used in medicines such as tincture iodine. That is what iodine is the solvent, solute, and alcohol is the solvent. And the cough syrups. That's the reason I say, no, I think there is no one of you till now not took the syrup. Definitely we are taking a syrup for cough, a syrup for fever, or some other many from our childhood we are keep on taking the syrup. Do you know all people? In that syrup, we are having medicine is very, very small. But alcohol is more in present because the medicine will dissolve in the alcohol. As medicine alone, we cannot take. Understanding? So to maintain the concentration, they will mix with the oxygen. So whatever the tonic you have and cough syrup you have, definitely you are taking the ethyl alcohol. Do you understand, Amma? But does not affect, very small. So and ethanol, it is also soluble in water in all proportions. Means highly soluble it is. And consumption of small quantities of dilute ethanol causes drunkenness. What do you mean by drunkenness? Anybody? What do you mean by drunkenness? Anyone? Please respond. Yeah. People are behaving correct. Those who have alcohol, how they will behave. That is what is called it as a drunkenness. So we'll feel like a unconscious and we'll speak something like a blurred vision, stirred speech, sometimes even vomiting. Adida drunkenness. So even though this practice is condemned, it is socially widespread practice. So means actually consumption of alcohol is not good for health, but still people will consume. So that is make many problems. So it's actually like a world's favors. You can see always has been, it is not allowed, condemned also. People used to prefer, it's the evil of the society. But what we can do, we cannot. So now, however, intake of even a small quantity of pure ethanol. What is the name of the pure ethanol? Just now I taught you. Pure ethanol, all of you. What we used to call it as a absolute? Respond, Amma.
Absolute alcohol.
Absolute alcohol, pure. You know, guys, it can be lethal. Means many health problems will come and it may leads to the death also. That is the meaning of lethal. Write it. Lethal. Consumption of pure. That's why always it has to be soluble in water. So if you are consuming just small quantity of pure, you can see it will cause us to death. That's all, everybody. So if you take a cocktail or whatever it is, if it is a pure alcohol, then definitely it will cause us to death. So that is what is very dangerous. Even though it is soluble in water and we have to take that. So, and also long-term consumption of alcohol leads to many health problems. That is what they're saying every time. So major accidents are because of alcohol. Every liver damage, this damage, that damage, many problems because of this only. So of course, the alcohol what we are consuming is ethanol. It's not about methanol. Now, how do alcohols affect the living beings? So here they are making all the things. You can see that. And here I will read this paragraph because it will be having another important thing. That is what the first primary member of alcohols. Who is the primary member of alcohol? Everybody? Primary member of alcohol. Methyl alcohol. Okay, meeting is going to end. You join back and we'll continue. So that is called it as a methyl alcohol. So why we cannot drink methyl? Why we can drink ethanol? Methyl alcohol, not ethyl alcohol. We'll discuss it. So now you can see when large quantities of ethanols are consumed, it tends to slow metabolic processes and it will depress the central nervous system. Biology question. So what is the cause of long consumption of alcohols? It will affect on our CNS. central nervous system, means brain and as well as spinal cord. So it will result what? Lack of coordination, mental confusion, drowsiness, lowering of the normal inhibitions, and finally